What do you think makes a good housewife? Because it's somewhere in my notes and I'll bring it up when we get there. But Tamra thinks what she's doing makes her the best housewife. I don't personally agree because I don't like the darkness of all of this. This is getting dark. It's getting very Jersey. It's getting very dark and I don't like it. But Tamra thinks that this makes her, an iconic housewife, a necessary housewife. So I want listeners to weigh in. What do you think makes a good housewife? Because I don't think this is it.
Welcome to We Wine Whenever. Grab your glass and join 3 Jersey Shore housewives, Wendy, Kelly, and Lori, as they dive into everything from Bravo drama to life's everyday chaos. It's unfiltered, it's hilarious, and it's the real talk you've been waiting for, from relationship to pop culture. We drink wine whenever, and we hope you do too. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Cheers! Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
I actually just wanted to start by wishing my co-host Kelly a very happy birthday.
Thank
Happy
you
birthday.
very much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for working on your birthday. I mean,
Always.
Can we call this work?
Always. I mean,
it's work.
It's work we don't get paid for, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, it is. It is. It's just like being a mom.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So we're going to be talking about OC, but Kelly has some breaking news on OC.
Yeah. So we had spoken about it before. Kelly Dodd had brought up that the one season Heather didn't come back. It was because she wasn't offered a full-time role. And that Kelly Dodd said it's in the book. What's his face? Dave Quinn? Who wrote this? Yeah, Dave Quinn. So I found it. So Heather Dubrow says in the book, after the season finished airing, I'm not quite sure what season this was, I was sitting around and waiting for them to call with my offer. And when they did, it was for a reduced role. I went back and sat down with them and said, for me, I either have to be all in or all out. And that's how I left. I pissed them off and really gave them no other place to go. If I were in their position, I would have done the same thing. So then Alex Baskin says, I don't think Heather's being honest. She's taking ownership in pushing the show away, but I don't think that's what she intended, even subconsciously, because she wanted to continue with the show. So obviously, I think that what Alex Baskin is saying is Heather was basically giving them an ultimatum, like either I'm a full-time or I'm not at all. And they chose not at all. And she's kind of making it like it was her decision, but I don't think that's necessarily true. It really doesn't matter at this point. But I was just so interested when Kelly Dodd said it because, Kelly says a lot.
Right.
And you don't ever really know if it's true or not. But this actually checked out and this was true. And it is in the book. She's 100% right.
So what's very interesting as this season unfolds, you said the book is written by Dave Quinn. So Dave Quinn is the journalist, the reputable journalist that they're referring to in this season.
Well, that is interesting.
Yes. So when Kiki Monique gets the information, supposedly, so this is where it's all so murky.
For sure.
And we'll get into it in a little bit, but when Kiki Monique supposedly gets the information that Gretchen went to the hospital after the Naked Wasted, right? She's the one who brought that information to the reputable journalist who happened to be Dave Quinn. And Dave Quinn is the one who reached out to Tamra to let Tamra know that this was coming.
That is interesting.
It is a very, very sordid tale and a very deceptive web that's being woven by all parties because there's a lot of hands in this. There's a lot of hands. A lot of hands in this, right?
I mean, online, obviously Teddy tells Katie. So I'm like I have 10 minutes left of the podcast with Teddy and Katie. It was very good. Teddy tells Katie in that podcast, obviously, that she heard Sheena Shea is the one who, started this whole thing, which is very believable because that girl can't keep her mouth shut because she's so desperate to be on Bravo or anything. She's just desperate. But somebody made a very good point online saying Kiki works for Andy Cohen. She's on Serious Andy, right?
Yes.
Did you
Radio.
hear Radio Andy on Sirius?
Yeah.
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 Did you hear, I think you told me about it. Who's the guy? Ryan Bailey?
Yep.
Okay.
Ryan Bailey.
So he interviewed a woman, and forgive me, I forget her name, but she was hysterical because she was on SNL, and she was on with Kiki and Dorinda when that podcast first started.
Okay.
And then they let her go and just kept it as Kiki and Dorinda. And that woman basically said, I don't, she doesn't believe, she thinks Kiki's shady, and she doesn't believe Kiki when she's saying that Katie's the one who told her. And other people have said online, like, Kiki works for Andy. So she's going to do whatever she's told to do by Bravo.
Exactly. Like you just said, she works for Andy, and very interesting that Kiki's name came up, and then we get Kiki on camera, right? So when we last Salt Lake City, when Adam up in Adam's name came up, right? We didn't
Yeah,
get
we didn't
him.
see Aunt.
We did not see him do a sit down on a housewife show to clear up
That's right.
his portion of it. So why does Kiki get that? Who benefits? Who benefits is really the question. It's like, it always comes down to, and I don't want to say this, but it always comes down to follow the money. Comes down to
Yeah,
follow the money.
for
So
sure.
who benefits? Who benefits from this whole crazy story that's out there right now? Kiki benefits because her name is now a household name. If you did not
Yep.
know who Kiki Monique was, you know who
I
she
had
is now.
no idea who Kiki Monique was. I knew Dorinda did a podcast with someone. I had
Mm-hmm.
no idea who it was.
Yeah. Um, and honestly, who's still coming out on top right now? Tamra. Tamra's still
Of
coming out on
course.
top. The way it stands right now, Tamra's still coming out on top.
Right.
It's just
So I have this in my notes, but I want everybody to think about this, and I want our listeners to weigh in. What do you think makes a good housewife? Because it's somewhere in my notes, and I'll bring it up when we get there, but Tamra thinks what she's doing makes her the best housewife. I don't personally agree because I don't like the darkness of all of this. This is getting dark. It's getting very Jersey. It's getting very dark, and I don't like it. But Tamra thinks that this makes her, an iconic housewife, a necessary housewife. So I want listeners to weigh in. What do you think makes a good housewife? Because I don't
yeah,
think this is it. I
I
like a
agree.
little drama. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we can't watch them cook dinner for their families every night, obviously. But this is just too much to me.
I totally agree. And I agree. Like, let's hear what our listeners have to say on this matter, because it's to the point where it's completely overproduced, so much that I feel like it's even scripted at this point. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
this is
totally
this is
agree.
basically a scripted show. This is not a reality show. They are giving us what they want us to see at what point. And even the media, the fact that, we heard, and I said when we started this season, I thought Katie quit in the middle of the season. That's what we heard back when they were filming it, right? But we didn't know what was going to happen because they wouldn't let her talk. So as soon as it was getting close, then Katie's doing her media tour. And from what I understand, all of the podcasts that Katie's been doing and all which is fine. You know what? It's fine. There's been a Bravo person there with her. So Bravo,
Really?
well, yeah, you can't just, when you're under Bravo contract, you can't just do whatever you want to do.
And they put her on 2 Ts. So they're helping Tamra. Bravo's helping Tamra.
Yeah, like I said, follow the money. Follow the money. It's all
So
going back to Bravo. It's all going.
Bravo
They're
must
helping
think that
Kiki.
Tamra's doing a great job as being a housewife because they're helping her out with this,
Yeah, yeah. They're helping
right?
Kiki grow. Yep, they're helping Kiki grow her audience. They're helping Tamra be that great housewife. They're helping 2T's podcast, which is Tamra and Teddy, and by giving them all of this information. So let's just start. This one is
Yeah, let's get
called
into it.
it's Real Housewives of Orange County, season 19, episode number 9, Life's a Beach. We start out where we left off with Katie outside talking to the producers, and Katie's saying, listen, I'm not lying for Gretchen anymore. I'm not covering up for her anymore. Slade and Matt were on the phone for like 45 minutes. Like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. Meanwhile, inside, all the ladies are talking about how Katie's lying and, but they keep flashing back while they're saying this to all the scenes where everyone else has lied. While they're saying
Right.
Katie's lying, you see what
Right.
they're producing. They're producing back to us every time they have lied and receipts for it.
Right. And of course, they're all telling Jenn basically, if you choose to be friends with Katie, we're going to have a problem with that, which is
Well,
very effed up. I think Shannon's the only one who didn't basically say that.
so the way it started was Jenn says, well, what happens now? And Heather being Heather, says, well, if you want to continue your friendship with her, that's okay. And then Gretchen and Gina jump in because Heather wants her hands clean, but Heather's involved in this as well. She has to
Heather's the
be.
whole reason this is happening.
Right. Right.
Heather
Right.
is the whole reason this is happening. And you know that because I know we'll get there. But even at the beach, she makes the comment, Katie's not coming, but I called the paparazzi. You're still bringing it up. You're fucking guilty.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
so guilty.
I mean, even the fact that she said that when Jenn says, well, Heather's like, well, you can still be friends with her. Just like when the information came out at the reunion, when Emily brought up about Katie's custody, and Heather got up and walked over to her and said, I'm so sorry you're going through this. You're the one who gave that information to Emily, whether it was in a
Yep.
group text or not. You're the one that gave her the information, Heather. Heather, we see you. We know what you're doing, Heather. We
Yep.
see you. I'm
And
sorry.
listen, if she's going to stay on the show, fine. But after this season, it has now all been exposed. This is what's going on. We know it's you. So either stop doing that and trying to keep your hands clean, but really be dirty behind the camera and just be who you are. And that's somebody who tries to bury someone. That's who you are. You and Tamra are in cahoots all the time. See, and I don't they're gonna at some point say Emily's gonna say that Heather's afraid of Tamra. I don't think Heather's afraid of Tamra. I think they just have a mutual they just stick up for each other because they're both dirty. They both play dirty. Tamra's just a little bit more honest about it, but I guess really not because she doesn't take accountability.
Well, that's what it is. That's what it is. And also, Heather's an actress.
Of course. Not a
Heather's
good
an
one, but she is an actress.
but she's an actress. And so she has that. And I think Tamara's downfall in all of these situations is her drinking. Because she
Yeah.
loses it. And Heather doesn't get drunk. I've never once seen Heather drunk on the show. Not once.
No.
And it's not that she
No.
doesn't drink, but you don't
Right.
see her lose control. And that is the sign of a true professional. That's a sign of a
Right.
true professional.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So Jenn in her confessional is saying that Katie's causing a problem with her friendships and she doesn't know what to do. Then we see
Jen,
the whole
You're
Yeah.
you're picking the wrong side.
Yep. You bet on the wrong
But
horse, Jenn.
yeah, but she'll figure it out. She'll learn. It's probably going to be too late, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's gonna be too. I hope it is. I really hope, honestly, my hope after watching this season is I don't want Jenn back. I don't want
Mm-mm.
Gretchen back. I don't. And
No.
I was rooting for
I'm
Jenn.
pretty sure Gretchen was a one and done here.
Yeah, I was rooting for Jenn. But after the
Yeah.
way she turned on Katie like that, no. I'm sorry. No.
I'm going to
No.
ask you something. Don't you think it's odd that we haven't seen Ryan weigh in on this at all?
Well, he doesn't need to weigh in. You know why? I mean, Ryan and Slade go way back.
Right.
So
But
from
my
the
point is
mortgage.
that I think that Ryan knows this happened. He knows Katie's telling the truth. He knows Jen's lying. And he's like, I'm not going on camera talking about this.
No.
Just keep me off camera talking about this. You want me on camera to talk about something else? No problem. Not this.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to
No.
lie on camera.
Yeah, no. No, we haven't seen him.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen him. The next thing we see is Gretchen and Emily go to the doctors to get their testosterone pellets. Emily is talking about the Persian New Year party, and her exact words are hoping that Katie is gone. Those were her exact words. I'm hoping now
Yeah.
Katie is
And
gone.
isn't it interesting that all of a sudden Emily's allowed to be friends with Gretchen?
Yeah.
Remember, Emily wasn't allowed to be friends with Gretchen because of what happened in the past and Tamra, and she wasn't going to make that mistake again. But now all of a sudden she's allowed to hang out with Gretchen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and those were her exact words. I hope Katie's gone.
Yep. And I was like, "You've gotta be kidding me."
Mhm. It's a witch
And
hunt.
it really is. It really
Mhm.
is. The next thing we see, so Emily says, like, "I saw you and Tamara had a long hug at the end at my Persian party. Like, what was that all about?" And she's like, "Oh, well, Tamara says to Gretchen, 'Thank you for taking the time.'" Now, this is Tamara being smart. "'Thank you for taking the time to meet with Kiki and talk it out with Gina for just straightening it out.'"
So we can get to the bottom of it.
Right. Yep. And Gretchen's like, "Well, I did that for myself." She doesn't say that to her, but that's what she says in her confession. "I did that for Of course you did it for yourself, Gretchen. We know who you are. But guess what? Tamara knows who you are too. And she
Right.
set you up. She
Yep.
set you up. She is way smarter than you, unfortunately. She's way smarter than you."
Tamara's way smarter than all of them, apparently.
Yes. Yeah,
I do give her credit for that.
yes, she is. She really is. In her confessional, Gretchen says that she's cautiously optimistic. Yeah. No. I mean, they said that they want to, when they get together for the beach picnic that they're having, maybe we can figure out like what's going on between you and Tamra and maybe just kind of put a pin in it, right? In her confessional, Emily says that she really would like for Tamra and Gretchen to get along. I don't know if you picked this up, but Emily very many times doesn't call Gretchen Gretchen. She calls her Gretcher. Gretchers. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why.
So this means that you're close enough with her to have given her a nickname,
Right.
right? This is
Yes.
not just
Yes.
like I met you. Like we have a nickname now for
Mhm.
you, and it's Gretchers.
Right.
And somebody else calls her Gretchers too. I'm not sure who. I don't remember who, but I do
I was
notice that
trying to
Emily,
think, it's not Tamara, right?
definitely not
Is it
Tamra.
Gina?
It might be Gina. It might be
Or
Gina.
Heather, maybe Heather.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah.
And then Emily also says in her confessional, like, "Listen, I don't really care if they get along, but let's just like either they're going to beat the shit out of each other in a boxing ring or they're going to make up. Like, let's just do something."
Right.
Which,
Right.
whatever. Then we see the whole infamous setup where Jenn meets up with Katie for coffee, and Katie
Mhm.
shows up with her envelope with her receipts in it and points out to Jenn exactly, that she was set up and pulls out the documents about how these are paid actors and this is the website and you can get the outcome that you want. And that would have been Jen's opportunity to say, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea. I so see your side now." That would have been her opportunity. "I'm going to fight for you. I'm going to fight for you." But instead, she used it to say, "Okay, I
She
guess we
said
won't be
they're
friends
gonna think
anymore."
this is preposterous. Of
Right.
course they are, because it's true, and now they're found out.
I mean, if someone presented you, someone who was your friend and your children were friends and you talked to every day, presented you with this kind of information, don't you think you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I had no
Yeah,
idea."
I'm not even friends with Katie, but I saw that on social media. I was like, "Oh my god," because you had said that you had recognized the guy, I didn't, and
Yep.
then when this all came out that he's basically a paid actor, I mean, I totally believed it when you saw that he was the one who did the LVP lie detector, because that was a joke.
Right. Right.
But, I mean, it's just so obvious that this was a setup. It's just ridiculously obvious.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm starting to think that Jen's a liar.
Well, she is. She's
I
totally
mean,
lying to protect
yeah,
Gretchen.
because and then she leaves the lunch and says, "Just keep me updated." You just basically told her that you don't trust her and you don't believe her. Why would she keep you updated on anything?
I know. Yeah,
So weird.
it was so weird. So then, I don't want to go over it again, but Jenn brings it up to Katie again. "You were there. You were a part of the conversation." This is what I think is interesting is that Jenn admits that at this point now she admits that she was a part of the conversation, but she doesn't admit that there was a toxicology report and that she went to the hospital, just that she felt away. So if you were a part of the conversation, but you weren't a part of the other part of the conversation, I mean,
Right, she's lying. She's
right.
totally lying.
Right. So Katie's crying, and I don't blame her. That whole situation ends. Then Gina goes over to Matt's house, and Britt is there. I didn't actually realize that Matt is her ex-husband. I didn't realize that they were married. Britt and Matt are married.
I have him down as her fiance. Are they married?
Oh, I thought that they were.
You could be right. You could be right.
Yeah. I think that they're married. That's the
Yeah,
impression I got. That's the impression I got. But this is my thought. First of all, listen, I do like to see, I like to see those kind of relationships. But now
absolutely.
I feel like
What a
now,
healthy co-parenting situation they have.
yes, and it's something for everyone to learn from, right? I'm afraid that they're going to try and bring Britt on the show now, like, then that is going to screw up her whole co-parenting relationship and her whole, like, why did they have to give her, and then she brought her to the volleyball thing too?
Yeah, yeah, you're
Like that
right, you're
like,
right.
I mean,
They're
she was
probably trying to
saying,
get her on the show. But
yeah,
don't you remember when Matt, I mean, I don't know if he still has the same job, but don't you remember when Matt and Gina first came on the show, Matt wouldn't film because of his job. His job didn't want him to film. Unless that was just an excuse because they were going through a divorce and nobody knew yet.
I mean, I think Matt might have lost his job after the
Okay.
domestic violence
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I forgot about
situation. I think he may have lost
that
his
girl.
job.
Britt looks so much like Kelly Dodd. I can't get over it.
She
She
seems
looks
like
so much like Kelly Dodd.
she does. She does. But I like to see that. Like, I like to see that whole interaction, and then Matt came in and how she was concerned. But then when she showed up at the volleyball game and Gina is saying how she really, she wants to protect this relationship and how it's so important to her. And I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, because it won't end well if they bring her on. There's
No,
no
it
way.
won't. No, it definitely won't. It definitely won't. And you know what? He's so young. Matt is so young to have such, major heart. He had a heart attack.
Yeah.
He's young, like, he's gotta,
Yeah.
but it also
Yeah.
it points out, which we all knew, that how bad the situation is between, Travis's ex and Gina. The one thing she said, which didn't make sense to me, that she really wants to really push for the divorce so that she can get married to Travis to have some sort of legal standing over the stepchildren. I don't know that you ever have legal standing over stepchildren,
I don't think you do.
right? I mean,
Yeah,
I
no.
don't
I mean, I
I
don't know
don't
how California works, but if their mother's still alive, then
right,
that's it. That's it.
right, right.
I mean, if you had a better relationship, then God forbid something happened to Travis. Sure, I'm sure but it doesn't sound like that woman's going to be amicable to
No.
anything like that.
No, it doesn't. It definitely doesn't. The next thing we see is Heather's meeting with Tamra, and they're talking about what happened. And then Jenn shows up a little bit later with the envelope that Katie gave her.
How about Heather saying, I really tried this year with Katie.
Mhm.
No, you didn't. This
No.
is all because you don't like Katie because she said that you called the paparazzi. That's what this is all about.
Yep.
We have not forgotten, Heather.
And how about when Heather says, that was not staged. My husband is a doctor on TV and a doctor in real life.
Right. Not the
Really?
same, Heather.
No.
Not the same.
And then Jen is backpedaling, maybe I put too much on the friendship. Oh, with Tamra. She's saying so now Jen's trying to make up with Tamra. Maybe I
Right, of
put too much,
course.
right, because she has to. If you're cutting off Katie, you've got to make up with Tamra, right?
Yep. Yep.
So maybe I put too much on our friendship, and that's why things went wrong with us. Okay. Yep.
And Tamara's like, I apologize for the dinner at Katie's house and I'm in therapy and blah, 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 blah.
Right. And therapy taught me that, the trauma when I was a little girl, and that's the little girl in me. That's the one that lashes out. No, that's when you drink too much and you lose control.
Right.
That's what
Right.
happens.
That's what happens.
And then Jen says, "Well, this is what happens. You apologize to me, and then all of a sudden you're backing me in the corner again." And then Heather's like, "But wait, are we making up or are we going backwards?" And Jen's like, "Well, we are a little bit, but we need to address this." And I was like, ugh. So Tamara said things cut really deep if you don't care. That's when Tamara, goes on her fake apology. If I didn't really care about you, like, this wouldn't hurt so much. Okay. She's just keeping her enemies close. That's what she
Yep.
does. That's what
Yep.
she does. That's why she makes up with Gretchen on the beach,
Right.
because she knows what's coming. She knows what's coming.
So Heather says she feels good about this. And then she posts a picture of Tamara and Gretchen hugging behind her. So it's very clear what's going on. She's going to post this.
Well, and she says, "Let's see how this goes." And I don't know if you saw, there's two pictures. There's the one that they show you on with them hugging, and I think she's got like a face like with the thumbs up, and then there's another one with the thumbs down. Did you see that?
Yep. Yes.
So we didn't see that on the show.
She said, I'll save this. I'm not posting anything yet, and we'll see how this goes.
Right. Right. The next thing we see is Emily, Gina, and Shannon are all shopping. And Emily tells them that Jenn called her and what Katie said about, them being paid actors and that, it wasn't legit. And Emily's back. I didn't even come up with the questions. That how could it be a setup? You guys
Totally
came up with the
denying it.
questions. Yep. How
Right.
can she say it's biased? Then she gets the call from her son, Luke. And, listen, you could tell by that phone call, you know? He's 10 years old and he is talking baby talk on the phone.
There's something very serious going on with this kid. I don't think she's embellishing anything. I
I don't
think this
either.
is
I
what's
don't either.
really going on.
Right.
And I think she's trying to film through it. I don't think this is something that comes on so quick and you don't know the seriousness of it until it's really bad. So I'm not going to say I don't think she should have filmed because I would imagine that when they started filming, it wasn't as bad as it is right now. And thank God we know now in real time they're in a better place. But I don't think this is embellished at all. I think that this is really what's going on. I think it's really taking a strain on their marriage. But I have no doubt her and Shane will be fine. They'll come out stronger through this because that's typically what happens. It'll either make or break you. But I feel for her. I'm not loving Emily this season for obvious reasons, and I do think that that whole lie detector thing was a setup, but I feel for her with what she's going through with her son. You feel powerless. You feel
Yeah,
100% powerless.
absolutely. And this is the thing to people that are listening to us. Two things can be true. We could think she's an asshole and a bully, and we've said that, right? But we can still be empathetic to the situation that is actually going on in her life, and I don't think that
Right.
she's exploiting it.
Right. Like I wish she wasn't involved in this whole takedown of Katie because this is really serious and it's her real life because she's on a reality TV show. But you're right, this show is so overproduced that it's basically like a scripted show now. So now we're just getting tiny bits and pieces of their real life because the rest of the bullshit is all fake
Right.
nonsense.
Right. Exactly. Then we see Katie in her confessional said that Jen is protecting Gretchen, which we already knew.
Yeah.
And the next thing we see is that Matt and Katie are sitting down and they're talking on the
Mhm.
couch. And he asks, like, what's happening with Jen and Ryan? And, she's kind of giving an update. And he pulls out his phone and, starts showing all these text messages from Slade on the dates. He had
That was interesting.
a 43-minute call on March 10th, which was when they were in New Orleans. And what do you think we were doing? Shooting the shit? You know,
And at some point, didn't he say that it was him, Ryan, and Slade on the line? I thought at one point he said there was a three-way call.
you know
I
what?
don't know if it was that particular 45-minute phone call,
Yeah, I
but
don't
he
know if it was
mentioned
that.
that.
I don't know if it was that call either. Ryan didn't know it was a three-way call. And I think as soon as he found out, hung up because didn't want to be a part of it.
That's what I'm saying. Ryan's keeping his distance because he doesn't want to have to lie on camera, and he knows the truth.
Right. Right.
Good for you, Ryan. Too bad your
Yeah.
girlfriend didn't take the same step.
Yeah. But, we saw a little glimpse of that. Supposedly, and some stuff has been on social media as far as those text messages go. But I would imagine at the reunion, we will see those full text messages. We will see
Oh,
the
I
full
hope all the
exchange.
guys are there. I guarantee you Ryan won't be there for the reason we just said.
And,
But
we don't
I
need
hope
Ryan.
Slade No, that's okay. Listen, that guy went through enough last season because of Tamra, so let him be. But I hope we see Matt and Slade hash it out.
Yeah. I can't wait for the reunion, to be quite honest with you.
Me
I really
too.
can't. I really cannot wait for the reunion because there's so much stuff that is going to come out and
Mhm.
people are going to have to answer for it. They're going to have to
Let's
answer
hope so.
for it.
Katie and Matt said that Slade and Gretchen basically wanted them to hate Tamara as much as they do.
Yeah. That was their intention.
And Jen's falling right in line with it.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
how
The
about her
next thing
not inviting Katie to the beach day?
I know, but before that happened, we see a scene in New Orleans where Katie is talking to Jenn and Gretchen saying she just got called from Matt. We never saw that scene.
No.
So, it's more proof of what Matt and Katie are saying. Besides the text messages, she's in the room with them before they go down to the dinner, before Tamra quits. So Gretchen
Right.
already knew. It was all predetermined before they went down. She sat
Right.
down and said, listen, I just got off the phone with Matt and, he was talking to Slade and they know what's going on.
Mhm.
We didn't see that before.
No, we didn't.
And this is, again, why I'm saying that this is scripted. This is freaking
Yeah.
scripted.
Yep.
Like, if you're going to tell us a story, tell us the story in chronological order. Tell us the story in chronological order because that's what reality is. What you're doing is you're scripting it. You are scripting it, which is what you see on these shows, on these scripted shows where they start, okay, this is present day. This was past. Like, that is what you are doing. That's what you're doing with the web of lies.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Matt also said that every time he's hanging out with Slade, all he talks about is, how he started the Housewives. And it is true. He doesn't have anything to stand on his own.
No, he doesn't work. He hasn't worked
And
since the
Gretchen
show
brings that up.
started. Who knows if he was even working when he first came on the show? Like, that
Right.
could have been a bunch of bullshit, you know?
I mean, he says what his job is real estate, but is it really real estate? Like, what is he really doing? Right.
Right. Yeah.
So it's beach day and they don't invite Katie. Of course they don't
Bizarre.
invite Katie. Right. So Jen's invited her friend and her 2 sons are there and they're going to be playing volleyball. I mean, I'm glad the sons were there because at least they could play volleyball. I mean,
Right.
it's hard.
Right.
How are you having a volleyball game with women that don't know how to play volleyball?
Did you watch the after show?
I did.
Yeah. And they were like, who was the most athletic? And Gina was like, hello.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I thought it was interesting when they asked Jenn who the least athletic was, and she didn't say Heather, she said Shannon. I'm like, even Heather said Heather.
Right.
Heather's
Exactly.
the one with the
I mean,
parasol, the one
Shannon
who
did
doesn't.
all over the place.
But at least she tries. At
but
least she
tried.
tries.
I mean,
Right?
Heather stood there with an umbrella.
Right. She doesn't even pretend to try.
No, not at all.
And neither did Gretchen, by the way. I mean, Gretchen didn't
Right.
participate either.
Right.
So Gina brings Britt with her. Jenn brings her friend. Heather shows up with her friend Chanel. Emily shows up by herself. Tamra shows up with Joe.
So stupid.
And it's just like, come on. We can't even play volleyball. Like, we can't, seriously. So that, the stupid volleyball game, whatever. After they're done playing their volleyball game, Heather announces that something very fabulous has happened. Katerina got accepted into all of these schools, right? Her dream school is USC. And Shannon's like, I don't have any pull. And Heather said, but I want to tell you all, she got into Yale. Okay, what? I mean, are we waiting for like the Doves to? I mean,
is she going to Yale?
I think she is in Yale. I think she did go to Yale. But still, what? We needed we needed that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
it's
then
her world and we're just living in it.
Tamra announces Sophia has her first boyfriend. I'm sure she's going to be happy to hear that you announced that.
I was thinking the same thing. This poor girl is probably like, what is wrong with you? I mean, she's in her 20s, isn't she? Or 19? Either way.
She graduated high school. Yeah, she's 19 or 20.
God, you don't want your mom saying that on national television.
Right. And then Shannon goes on to say that, her daughter Sophie did meet this guy and she really fell for him and he just broke up with her. So she flew home for the weekend to be with her mom, which that's sweet. And she's going to be coming by later. I mean, okay.
Yeah.
So then Emily's big good news, because they're calling this Good News Friday, right? Emily's good news is Shane's dad came home from the hospital, which is good news.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Joe's good news is that her husband and her are officially going to try and have a baby. They've decided to try and have a baby at, age 44. That's going to be hard, but okay.
Yeah. It's not going to be easy. All good.
Yeah.
All good blessings
Yeah.
for her. I
Yep.
hope it works out.
And then
always adopt.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And Britt says her good news is every day because the fact that Matt is still here and they can't imagine him not being there. Jen's good news is that her and Tamra finally sat down and had a better conversation. I'm like, okay.
Kiss ass.
And then we get to Gretchen and she's like, well, I keep asking the girls, like, should Tamra and I just, talk, or like, do we need to have a mediator? And Tamra says, I don't need a mediator. So they agree to speak, right? They're going to get up and those two are going to speak. So they do. They get up and they go over, to the side. And Tamra says, I'm confused because when I asked you if you've ever gone to the hospital, you said no. And Gretchen said, well, if I said that, I'm sorry. I misspoke. What?
Same thing she said on that podcast with Heather McDonald.
I'm sorry. I misspoke. 2 times you misspoke.
Yeah.
2 times.
So here's the funny thing. Tamra calls bullshit, and she's right, because Gretchen lied. But if the lie detector was wrong about Gretchen, right? Because Tamra's like, the lie detector was wrong. How come the lie detector can't be wrong about Katie? We've established that the lie detector is wrong, right?
Right. Only when it works for them, it's wrong.
Exactly.
That's how that works.
Exactly.
Tamra said Katie had said that Slade called Matt and said, we can't talk about this. Gretchen said, well, that's not true. That's not what happened. You can call Slade. Of course she can call Slade. Of course Slade is going to back you up. I mean, he's the one who did it.
Exactly.
Tamra said, well, that's not what happened. Gretchen said, well, she's been lying about a lot of things. Okay, so that's what we're going with now? Tamra says, I don't understand why my name... Gretchen says, I don't understand why my name keeps being brought up. And Gretchen, instead of all the people you can bring, like, why do you bring Joe? And Tamara's like, well, does that bother you? And she's like, yeah. Like, it's more about, like, what was your intent? Like, why would you bring her? Meanwhile, back at the table, Heather's telling all the ladies, like, how she had a hard time with this group, how she's having a hard time with this group because she was friends with Gretchen when she came on. She's known Gretchen for a long time. She's known Tamra for a long time. They were all friends before. And she has a hard time because she feels like she's the one stuck in the middle now that they're not getting together. But she's like, Gretchen was at Tamra's wedding. And they're like, she was at her wedding? Was she a bridesmaid? Oh, no, she wasn't a bridesmaid. Heather's like, but I was a bridesmaid. And, they flash to that. And then Gretchen says to Tamra, like, do you feel any remorse about anything? Like, about when you said I was cheating on Jeff, when you called Slade a deadbeat dad? And Tamra said, like, these things were true. Like, everything I said was true. She's like, it's not like I was just pulling these things out of my ass. These were articles about him not paying child support. So I mentioned it. And then Tamara's like, well, there was an article about my husband being gay, and you were spreading that rumor too.
I forgot when they flashed back to that guy when Gretchen said something about Eddie being gay, and he's like, well, I do know somebody who said he saw him make out with a guy, which I don't believe for a second.
No, I don't either. But I forgot about that too. But then Tamra said, you also remember that 13 years ago, Slade was on stage calling me fat.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. That was horrible.
Yeah. And then they flashed back to that.
He called Vicky Miss Piggy or something.
Yes. And that's all that really...
I forgot he said that about Tamra.
Right. And Gretchen's like, well, this is bad. That was bad. Especially, and you know what's so funny? Like, all of a sudden, we're not talking about that picture of Jenn anymore.
Oh, yeah. Jenn totally forgot about that.
Like, what happened to that?
Right. She just, she just wants to be in with the cool girls.
Mm-hmm.
She's like Julia on Miami.
Oh, yes. Very much so.
She's just going to throw it all aside.
Yep.
Maybe she thinks that this will help her keep her spot for next year, but I got to be honest with you. I don't know if she's coming back, Jenn.
I don't think she should. I really don't.
I mean, I don't know. Again, it comes down to what do you think makes a good housewife, I guess. But
yeah,
I don't like the flip-flopping. I don't like how she just, threw Katie aside, and I don't know.
No, I don't either. Either. No, I totally agree. Gretchen says, this is the problem. You and I go back and forth with all these things. Tamara's like, well, you don't even let me talk. So Gretchen said, all right, let me start with this then. I'm sorry for reaching out to your daughter. I was like,
yeah, that was a big move.
Yeah. Gretchen said, I was really hoping that maybe you could come to the table and say, you know what, Gretchen, I'm really sorry that. Tamara's like, well, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm sorry, maybe I don't remember, but I sat down with Slade. Maybe you don't remember, but I sat down with Slade and apologized. And then they showed that. I totally forgot she apologized to Slade too.
Yeah, I did too.
And
but she
Gretchen's
did she might not have said the words deadbeat dad on the podcast, but she was trashing him on her podcast. So
she
that
definitely
apology means nothing. It's null and void.
Right, and that's what Gretchen said. You know what?
Yeah.
But you still went on your podcast, and she's like, "Well, it's iHeart. They tell me what to talk about. It was the headline. I was just talking." And like, give me a
Bullshit.
break. You didn't have to talk about it.
Exactly.
So Gretchen says, "Do you want to move forward or not?" And Tamra says, "Yes, but what's it going to take for you to let it go and just let it go?" And Gretchen says to Tamra, "So when Slade would go out there and try and get a job and help and support his son, the only thing that would show up when they would look him up would be that he's a deadbeat dad." And she's like, "He lost jobs, he lost work because of that?" And she's like, "Yeah."
Gretchen's like, absolutely.
Yeah, and Tamara's like, I'm so," and then she moves closer to her, "I'm so sorry," and she holds her hands, "I wasn't aware of that, I'm so sorry."
I mean,
Come
listen, if
on.
there was no validity to it, I mean, he didn't get jobs because of who he was. I don't think you can put the blame on Tamra for Slade not getting a job.
I don't think you can either, and I think the fact I just think the whole thing was so staged. The
Mhm.
fact that Tamara was just like, let me get closer to you, and let me hold your hand now." Like,
Yeah,
it
I'm
just felt
so
that, like, it
sorry.
I'm so sorry, like, that's not I didn't know that. I didn't know that I caused this problem. Come on.
Right. No, not buying it.
So that was enough that now they're going to move forward. Now they decide that they're gonna move forward, right?
I love when the producer asks Shannon, "Do you think it will last?" And she says, "I know it's not gonna last." Shannon was friends with Tamara long enough to know that this is all bullshit.
Yep. Yep. It is. It is all bullshit. It really is. So then they go back to the table and they see that they're getting along. And Shannon says, "I guess I'm the only asshole in the group then." And Heather says, "Yes, you are." I don't know if you caught that. She said,
Was it
"Yes, you
Heather or
are."
Emily? I thought Emily said, "Yes, you are."
I thought it was Heather because Heather was right there. I thought it was Heather. And then Shannon's daughter Sophie shows up. I mean, I was glad to see Sophie, but then Emily says to Sophie, "Before you got here, Shannon let us know that you had this bad breakup." And I'm like,
I
"Of course
know.
she's gonna." Okay, so we're gonna make it better for you. Like, why don't we all tell you about our worst breakups? What?
I know. But, I mean, it was good because, like they said at the end, like, you're gonna look back on this one day and be able to laugh about it or, be able to talk about it and not feel sad about it, which is
Right.
true.
No, that is
Time
true.
heals,
Yes.
but when
Yeah.
you're in the moment, it's not exactly what you wanna hear.
Right. And Emily's like, "Okay, and Gina, you start. We'll start with Gina." And Gina's like, "Well, my worst relationship was probably my divorce." Like,
Right,
and
and
here I'm
there was, like,
sitting next
domestic
to
violence involved, and I don't really wanna talk about that.
right, and Britt is sitting right here next to me.
Right. Right.
Tamara says, "Joe, we don't want to hear yours." Okay, no, we don't. I didn't really want to hear any of them, to be honest with you.
No, no.
Heather comes up with her bullshit middle school boyfriend who broke up with her on the field. By the way, he's gay. Okay, Heather.
Yeah, I don't even believe that. I don't believe anything that comes out of Heather's mouth.
No, no. And then Jen says, I didn't even get Jen's. It was a wrestler and he had a Bronco and she was in a small town. So she figured she was going to have sex. And Shannon's like, "Well, did you have sex?" She's like, "Yeah." And Shannon was like, "And then his friend took me home." Wait, what? I
Yeah,
don't even
and
know what
she
that
asked his
was.
friend on the way home, "So do you think he likes me?" You just had sex with him. Shouldn't you have kind of figured that out before you had sex with him?
Yeah. And then Tamara tells a story about a boyfriend she had in the 80s who used to live with her and he broke up with her, but she still had the keys and she went in his place with a knife and his leather jacket. I'm like, "What? Wait,
I
what?
mean,
Why are you putting this out there?"
I know. Well, she obviously got caught because she said when he came home, the garage doors went up and she was standing there with a knife. So I guess she wasn't trying to hide it from anybody.
My gosh. I'm looking forward to, I actually don't even want to see the Amsterdam trip, to be honest with you.
I
I
don't
mean,
either.
I don't even know when it's coming. Like, how many more episodes do we have till we
I
get
mean,
to
this
the
is
end of
only
this season?
9.
I
We're
know.
probably only halfway through or maybe a little bit better than halfway through. I'm not I don't know. I don't know if I'm just getting tired of housewives or because I'm not loving Miami either. I feel like Miami's just a bunch of nonsensical fighting too. But I don't know. We'll see.
We will see. I mean, I don't want to give up on Housewives. I
I
don't.
know,
But
me neither. But I need Jersey back. I need Jersey back. However, you're going to give it to us, please give us Jersey back.
yeah, I agree. Actually, I think I need some Jersey back too.
I need Jersey back. This is way too long to go without it. But
I'll be
it
honest
it
with you.
can't be the same dark stuff because now with the OC darkness, and I don't like it. I don't like it. Miami's good, even though there's some silly fighting. At least it's not dark, and it's nothing like this.
I don't think Miami
Roofies
is
and
yeah,
drugging and
yeah, and 17-year-old crap. I don't think Miami is nearly as bad as OC is right now.
no,
Um,
no, not at all.
I would also like New York back in some shape or form. That's just me. I'm sorry. I like New York. I always like New York. I feel like the city itself is a housewife. It is a character. And I feel like
Yeah,
that we didn't get that with the reboot. We didn't get the city as a character with the reboot.
no, I don't. I
So
don't want the girls from the reboot back. I'll be quite
I'm not
honest with you.
I'm not saying I want the girls from the reboot
Like
back.
not one of them. Like to me, it's like bring back the old cast or some of the old cast, or just don't do it anymore. I don't know, but I agree with you. I'd love for New York to come back, just not with the reboot cast.
No, I mean,
And none of them stood out to me like, "Oh, I love her." I mean, I loved Uba, but quite honestly, I think Uba isn't she pregnant? Do we know?
oh, I don't know. That would be awesome if she is. I
I
don't
might
know.
have just made that up. But I think she's happy in Connecticut with her finance guy.
Yeah, I do too. All right. So until next time, thank you for watching and listening. And please let us know your thoughts. Like, comment on our post.
Yeah, what do you think makes a good housewife?
Yeah. Subscribe, share, and give us 5-star reviews. Bye.
Bye.